My favourite clip was of the monkeys jumping into the hotel swimming pool in India from a great height and swimming underwater. It was like, wow, I never knew they would do that. I think it is delightful, it's fascinating, it's extraordinary. We all want a connection with nature. I really think that's something quite innate in human beings, that we reach out to nature, we want to feel in touch with it. And a lot of us, I think, have really been missing that sense of connection because we've driven nature so far from our lives, especially the charismatic, interesting animals which we tend most easily to relate to.
Now more than ever, I think we're beginning to feel the absence of wildlife in our lives. And I think the fact that we're now getting species in our urban spaces that we've never seen before is reminding us of that disconnection.
Rewilding is a mass restoration of ecosystems, bringing back missing species, bringing back missing habitats, above all, bringing back dynamic ecological processes, allowing nature to the greatest extent possible to direct itself. And nature, when it's allowed to, does all these spontaneous, dynamic, exciting things which you couldn't possibly predict. That's one of the wonderful things about it, but we keep truncating those processes by managing nature. And to the greatest extent possible, rewilding is about letting go of that management.
There's no goals, there's no targets really in rewilding other than improving biodiversity and getting systems working again, functioning. It's really just about setting the ball rolling and letting nature take the driving seat. And it's been absolutely astonishing, the results. I mean, now, within 20 years, we now have some of the rarest species in Britain, including turtle doves, nightingales, purple emperor butterflies, all breeding here. We've gone from being one of the most depleted, polluted pieces of land to being one of the most significant areas for nature in Britain. So if it can happen here, underneath the Gatwick stacking system, surrounded by A roads, it can happen anywhere.
Ecologically, you could do it tomorrow. Wolves would live perfectly happily out of the dustbins of London. Not that I'm suggesting that, but a lot of nature is highly adaptable, as we've seen during the lockdown. But the barriers are political and commercial, and it's a matter of persuading people to do something different and to say, actually, I think a much better use of this land, on which currently there's 1 sheep per 2 hectares, it's producing almost nothing. Wouldn't it be better to pay people to do something completely different on that land, let the trees come back, let the wildlife come back, let people enjoy magnificent natural experiences? The fact that we're now getting species in our urban spaces that we've never seen before
is reminding us of that disconnection, and as well as the kind of potential of what could be. And so I think it really does connect with the whole idea of rewilding. We need to see urban spaces that aren't just green spaces, which can be biological deserts after all. We need to see places that are really humming, thrumming with life, where you can go and just feel connected with living things again. It's what E.O. Wilson, the great American biologist, calls biophilia. You know, it's that need in all of us. It's hot-wired in our DNA to connect with living things. And that's what we've been missing. And there are wonderful projects across the world. I've just been looking into one in New Zealand, in the town of Wellington, where they have connected with a valley outside the town. And they're actually bringing in animals. These species are now moving into urban spaces in the city, because they have sort of encouraged and allowed that to happen. There's no reason why we couldn't have that in our own cities. We should be having canals or towpaths or bicycle routes. All these could be free-flowing ways for really interesting wildlife to get back into our cities again, and for us to benefit not just from the physical enjoyment of being out in nature, but also that mental connection we need for our own mental health.
What I would like to see is magnificent nature made accessible to everybody, to have wonderful wild places on our doorsteps, and I think the craving for that, which this lockdown has revealed, should give us extra impetus in trying to ensure that everybody can have access to wild places, and that requires rewilding.